Very good morning, dear students. Dear students, we are going to start chapter number 1 of history, that is tracing changes through 1,000 years. So, children, we are going to just talk about in 7th standard history. We are going to talk about the medieval history. Fine. If you will just take a look at map 1 and map 2, what you will see? You will see a total difference in both these maps. Map 1, it was made in 1154 CE by Arab geographer Al-Idrisi. Fine. Now if you will see this map, children, what you will see in the Indian subcontinent. Fine. And see, if you will see the map of 720s, 1720s, this map was made by a French cartographer. Fine. And you will just see they both are quite different. Means the area is same but the maps are totally different. Al-Idrisi's map, if you will see the Al-Idrisi's map, you will just see that it is totally upside down. Means Sri Lanka is at the top. Normally when we look at the map, we always see north on the top and south at the bottom, but this map was totally different. Fine. And if you will see the second map, you will find it is somewhat same like your present map. Fine. And all the places and all are written in Arabic language. Fine. Here. Fine. And see, Uttar Pradesh, Kannauj, they all are written here. You will find them. If you will just map 2, if you will see, which is made 600 years ago after map 1. So here, that time the information about the subcontinent, it changed considerably. There was a lot of change. This map is just looking very familiar to us. Fine, same as we have a map now. It is same, but it is in a total detail. Fine, and this map was used by the European sailors and merchants on their voyages. Fine. Now, equally important is the fact that the science of cartography is the science of making map. Cartographer is the one who makes map. So that was totally different in these two periods. So whenever the historians are reading documents, they are just looking at the maps or the text of from the past, they have to look everything very closely and a detailed manner because they all belong to different backgrounds. Fine. So whatever information historians get, they have to look at that information in a very detailed manner. Now the next topic is new and all terminologies. So it's about terms. So it says that historical records, they are they are there in different languages. Fine, and they have also changed. If you will see medieval Persian, it will be totally different from the modern Persian language. Even the grammar, the vocabulary, even the meanings of the word, they change over the time. If you will just see the term Hindustan, for example, you are going to just if you somebody will ask you about Hindustan, you will be understanding that they are asking about your modern national state, that is your India. But if you will talk about past 13th century, when Minaj Saraj, who was a chronicler and who wrote in Persian, that time with the Hindustan, he meant just the area of Punjab, Haryana, and the land which was between Ganga and Yamuna. Fine. So that term, that in political sense, he wanted to say that all the area which was under the Delhi Sultan, that was Hindustan for him. Fine. So even the South India was not at all included because there Delhi Sultans had not ruled. And if you just see in the early 16th century, what Babur says, Babur with the term Hindustan means the geography, the fauna, the culture of the inhabitants of the subcontinent. He meant something different with the term Hindustan. And if you will go further, means if you will go in 14th century, the poet Amir Khusro, from the word Hind, he talked about the geographical entity like India. Fine, Hindustan, it did not carry any political and national meaning, which we mean today with the Hindustan. That was totally different. Same as the case was with the term foreigner. So it's fine. If I will ask you what do you mean by foreigner, you will tell me that it is someone who belong to some other country. But in the medieval period, foreigner was any stranger who was not who did not belong to a particular village, and someone who was not a part of that society or culture. Fine. And in Hindi, the foreigner is known as Pardesi, and in Persian, Ajnabi. Fine. And for a city dweller, if you will talk about a city dweller, for a city dweller, a person who's living in a forest is a foreigner. Fine. But two peasants which are living in the same village, they were not foreigners to each other. Now, history and their sources. Now, from where do we get to know about the history? So, last time also you have read about what are the sources. See, the sources, different types of sources are available to the historians. Fine, and they just study the period, they investigate the, all the things, and they get to know about which period they are talking about. Like last year, you talked about the Gupta dynasty, the Harshvardhana, and so many. This year, you are going to roughly talk about from 700 to 750. Fine. The resources which are available to the historians to study this period, they still relied on coins, inscriptions, architecture, and textual records for the information. But there is considerable discontinuity. Fine. Now what happened? The textual records, the amount, the number of textual records, it was increased dramatically in this period. Why so? What was the reason behind it? Why the written records were they were more? Because now the paper was cheaper and it was more widely available. So that's the reason why everyone was using this paper to maintain the records. Fine. So whatever people, what subjects the people used to write on? So they used to write about the holy text, the chronicler of the rulers, chronicles of the rulers, letters, teachings of the saints, petition, judicial records. They used to register the accounts and taxes as well. And children, manuscripts, they were manuscripts that is written with the hand. Fine. So the manuscripts, they were maintained by the wealthy people, the rulers, the monasteries, the temples, and they used to keep these records, these manuscripts in the libraries or the archives. Fine. So these manuscripts, they provide historians a lot of information. Fine. And children, as you know, there was no printing press. So there were scribes, those who used to copy the manuscripts by hand. So who were the scribes? They were the persons, those who copied the manuscripts with their hand, because there was no printing press. Now you can easily get a copy of your history book. You can get 1,000 copies at a time, but that time it was not available. So whenever they were copying from one text to another, children, what problem they faced? They used to make, some changes, small changes. They used to introduce a word here and a sentence there. So these small differences, these changed over centuries, because for centuries they were copying the manuscripts. And the serious problem was that the original manuscript was somehow totally different from the other that were available to the historians. So the historians, they had to, check out different manuscripts to come to some information, to get some information. Fine. Now sometimes the authors, they revise their chronicles at different times also. If you talk about 14th century chronicler Ziauddin Barani, so what happened? So he wrote the first chronicle in 1356 and another versions 2 years later. But the historians did not know about the existence of the first version until 1960 because it was lost in a large library collection. So, this was the main problem which historians faced. So, children, this was all about today's topic. Thank you and have a nice day.